Hello, this is FamilyCraft Dad, and this is going to be a little bit more of a chilled out version of my replay tutorials. This is going to go through kind of the walkthrough, and what I want to do is just let you guys see what I do with my workflow. You know, just what I do on my typical video. It's nothing big and special that I'm going to work on. I just figured this is a really good way to show you guys my process, the things that I do to make decent replays for my videos. So let's get cracking. What we first do, obviously, we go right into Replay Viewer. Now you might notice the screen is blurred. That is because it actually shows the IP of all the servers I'm a part of, and yeah, that's not cool. Even though they are whitelisted and all that, it's just generally a good idea not to show it off. Anyways, yeah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna find where we actually, you know, I should have probably done this earlier, but it's okay. This is part of the process. All right, I found the 2 clips I need. This is the start of the build, and this is me finishing it off. I'm not sure how much of the finishing it off I'm going to show in the replay, but we'll start off with this one. This one's going to be nice and easy. So here we go. We've got our clean slate here. Now, the first things first, let me pause this before we get really into this. The important part is this right here. This right here is my storage. I made sure that I had everything I needed before I got started. Now, sometimes you make mistakes and you miscalculate how much you need. That's fine. Like this one, I split it in between 2 clips. It's not that big a deal, but it just makes things easier if you're at least very close to everything you need. And, you know, when in doubt, bring more than you need. Because it's a lot easier to do these replays if you've already got all the materials you need. So the first step to my workflow has already been done. I figured out what I wanted to build. I figured out how much I was going to need for it. And I got what I needed. I brought it over here and I cleared the area. Now, sometimes I show the clearing in part of the video. This time I did not because I did it toward the end of a rather long clip and I don't want to have to deal with that. So it's not that big a deal to miss the clearing. Though it is kind of cool to add that to your videos. It adds some authenticity to it, especially if you're doing something in survival. But anyways, before we talk much longer, let's jump right on in. Now, the first thing I noticed is I jumped right on in and I got started right away. That's because I was prepared and I restarted the replay like you should do. Once you're all prepared and have everything all set up, you want to be able to just hit the ground running. So you restart your replay. Well, I say that I restart your replay. Just restart your connection to the server. So disconnect from the server, come back in, and your replay will be reset, and it'll be perfect. So yeah, what I just did there right in the beginning is I made this time keyframe, and I lowered the time a little bit because I had already gotten started. I didn't want to miss those few blocks, so I moved it back a little bit. Now what I do is I try to find out what happens in this clip. So I put it in 8 times speed. And I sit back and I watch to see what's being built. Now, wait, let me pause it. If you do not want spoilers for next week's video, next Wednesday's video, stop watching. You can come back and watch this afterwards. I'm going to show you my build. This is me working on my video that's coming out in the coming up video. So yeah, spoiler city. If you don't want spoilers, stop watching now, though you probably already got an idea where I'm going with these 3 little arches. But anyways, yeah, just that, you know, I realized that halfway through here. I'm like, uh-oh, this is spoiler city. So yeah, I'm building these arches here. And like I said, you probably have an idea where I'm going with this, but I won't tell you. That way, you know, at least you'll be surprised as you're watching this. So yeah, there I am. I built the 3 arches and I build this left side first. I sit there and hem and haw about the way it's going to look proportion wise. So that's me jumping around. All right. Think right there. Yeah, they're right there. I'm trying to think. So I am actually curious what my little marker is right there. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to set a time keyframe right here just so I don't forget it, because I think that is going to be where I end my first mini clip. But I am curious what happens at this spot here. Is this where I start back up? Yes. Okay. That's another little tip there. While you are recording your replay, and you stop for a second, like notice how I stopped the replay there because I noticed I stood still. Don't jump around while you're talking to people and not doing anything. Just stand still. And that way you know when to stop the replay. It's very important. And then when you start back up, hit the little M key, which makes a marker. And that way I remember, oh yeah, I got started here. So I'm going to jump to this. So right now we're going to do this clip first. All right, so we know the next clip is going to start there, but we first have to come up with this first clip. Now, one thing I know just personally, that most of my music is between 100 and 130 beats per minute, which is you know, this seems super picky, but technically if it's 120 beats per minute, you're going to want 8-second clips. Okay, because it actually turns out to be exactly 8 seconds per measure. So, or not measure, but per phrase. So if you have 4 measures put together, that's 8. It's like 2 seconds per measure. It's just, trust me, it's a fun way of doing it. What I do is I usually go for 8. If I know I'm going to use a slower song, a song with a lower tempo, then I might jump this to 10 seconds. We can always change the speed of things in the editor as long as your editor lets you do that. But mine does. And so I can fudge this a little bit. So it's usually for normal techno upbeat pop songs, it's usually 8 seconds because it's usually 120 beats per minute. And so that's usually what I do. But like I said, if you want to do a slower song, go for 10 seconds. It's probably a little better. That way you're not trying to stretch these things out and you have your full 60 frames per second, which is what you're going to want. So what I do, a lot of people probably at this point would rewind time and put it back to the beginning and try to set up the replay. But I have a decent memory. I know that I started out right here with these pillars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pillars, you know, and then I got doing this section. So, and I started from the front. So what I'm thinking about doing is I'm going to start out really close up like so. And then as I build these up, I want to kind of spread out this way a little bit. And put that there. And then when we build the rest of it, I just want to come up here a tiny bit. You know, I'm debating. Actually, I think I want to come back a little bit and not get too far away. I want to go right there, methinks. Now, here's the trick. It does use quite a bit of your resources to try to play it with all the action happening, especially at the speed I like to do my time lapses. I like to have them go pretty quick. This one's not too fast, but one trick I do, like I said, I use my mind's eye and I try to remember where things happen. And one thing that I found out is if you hold down the shift key, the left shift key, it might be the right one too, but the left shift key and click play, it won't actually use the timeline markers here. It will just move your camera. Now, one thing I didn't like about that, it wasn't a very smooth camera angle. I'm talking, so I'm not doing this as well as I normally would. What I'm going to do is take it from this angle to start out. Move that. And let's see how that goes. I don't like that either. Okay, so I'm actually going to undo all that. I want it to end in that same spot, but I'm going to change how I'm going to do this. There's a couple camera movements I like to do. This one is the close up to wide angle. So I like to do this one a bunch. There's a couple others that you'll likely see throughout this video. But this one's close up to start building out the wide angle. I'm actually going to do it a little bit slower. Sometimes I make it bigger, but this is a smaller build. So, and then this last one right here, I'm going to go up like this. Maybe not quite that far. There we go. That's probably a good spot. There. Now we press shift and click play button to see if we like that camera angle. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. That'll do the job. All right. So now this is my workflow. Like I said, I could right now test to see if it looks good. I could press play without the shift and see how it goes. I think in this case, it'll work just fine. So for this one, I will show it to you. But normally I trust my judgment. I think I've got this right. I would just be able to render it and be done with it. But I want to show you guys what this looks like. So hopefully this doesn't crash my thing. Yeah, it's not too fast. So there it goes. Perfect. I like that. It's actually a little bit quick, but I don't mind it. I don't mind it too much. It's going to go well with the music. I think that'll be just fine. You know, I'm actually starting to feel like, since it's kind of a water build, I'm starting to feel like maybe I will go with the slower tempo song. So yeah, let's watch it go that speed. Okay. Yeah, not bad, not bad. Now, if you notice, there was a little bit of time there where I was just kind of standing about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that. I think it was probably like 6 seconds or so. Let's see if that works. Now, this stuff I would do afterwards, after I've rendered. I would go through all my videos and I'll see if there's any little tweaks I want to make, and I'll go through and make the tweaks and render again. Like I said, I usually have my replays run a little faster than it. That was better. It doesn't matter that there's a little bit of time I'm standing there. That's perfect. Okay, so that is our first clip. Now what I do, this is something that people typically get all excited when I tell them about it. But when you hit X, you get this screen right here, and you can actually save your keyframe, which is great because you're going to be able to, even if this crashes right now, it's saved. I come back in, I hit X again, I click it, and I say load, and it loads it right up. So now I could just go ahead and remove this. Usually you can hit the C key, but I have Optifine on, and C kind of does a zoom thing like that. And so the mapping is all wrong. Now, one thing you notice, I named it 1. That's just because I've gotten a little lazy. I used to name it by things, but it's the first clip. I know it's the first clip, and there's no reason to think otherwise. So now we're going to jump to this one, drop our keyframe, and press play and see what we do next. All right. That looks like a good spot to stop. Now you notice that went a little faster than 8 times the speed. That's because I sped it up using my the powers of editing afterwards. I didn't want you guys to have to sit there and watch it with me in real time. I sped that along a little bit. And as you notice, Tall Bunny kind of ran through here during that time lapse. It was fine. That's fine. She just wanted to see what I was up to. So that's pretty cool. Now I finished up the right side, and it looked like I'm about to start working on the top. I figured that was a good time to clip that off, make it a new clip here. So here we go. We're going to drop our time keyframe again. Now the last one, I did a close-up zoom, and I zoomed out like this, you know, from close-up to wide angle. So typically what I do is I don't like to repeat the same things over and over. So I could just start over here because this is where I started, right? I could start over here and then pan out like that, right? Well, that would start getting repetitive in the video, and I don't want to do that. So you got to keep that in mind while you're working on these. You got to remember what the last angle you did. And if you constantly are close up to zoom out, people are going to get bored with that. And the other thing that can get boring is if you do close up to zoom out, and then you pick another spot, say over here, and do zoomed out to close up, you would think that's different, but it has the same kind of angle, and it does work sometimes. But in this one, I think I'm going to go for a different kind of thing where I'm going to do a pan shot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start over here, right? Because I kind of started over there. So we're going to, now one thing you got to remember, that top part, that's part of the frame. So you can't like center it based on the fact that, you know, that top area, it's really, see how the build is kind of on the bottom now. But when I had this up, it looks like it's in frame. So you got to keep that in mind sometimes. You got to bring it down so the whole thing is in the frame. And we put the spot here. Now this is a pan shot. So what you do is you slowly go around and kind of keep the same Y level. And we're going to look at it from this angle. And we're going to end up over here. Now, I'm using these terms. They sound super technical. They're what came to my mind. It sounds right to me. Now, you video geeks out there, you probably know the better terms for the different angles I'm doing here. And if you know them, please tell me them. It would be really, really cool if you went in the comment section and let me know, hey, that's not a pan shot. That's a flipperdoodle shot or whatever. I don't know. So that one was pretty simple. Like I said, my normal workflow is to not actually press play. I do the shift play and just make sure my camera angles themselves look good. And the pan shot's pretty easy. It's kind of hard to mess it up. But I think that one's going to do it perfectly. I like that. So we're going to hit X. We're going to save that and hope it works out later. It's a time saving thing that I do. I used to play every single time and make sure it played. Every now and again, the game freezes. It can cause issues sometimes if you go too quick with it. It's just easier for me anyways, for me and my potato computer. It's just easier to do a little bit of guesswork, and it saves me a boatload of time. I used to spend way too much time on my replays because of having to watch it back and make sure my render is going to be perfect before I even render it. Now I save boatloads of time. All right, so we've got our pan shot. I don't know if I'm going to pause here. So here's another tip here. I've already saved it, so it doesn't matter if everything gets deleted. I'm going to drop a keyframe here, but I don't know if it's going to be the permanent one. Let's see if we jump right in. Yes, we jump right in. So that is going to be our keyframe. So let's wait and see what these next bits are. Oh, it looks like Tall Bunny did a little landscaping work. We'll have to remember that. I forgot that she had done a little bit of that. That's why it's important to watch it all the way through instead of jumping around. I could just jump around up here to save time. I do that sometimes, but it's important to just sit back and watch, even if it's just 8x speed. It takes a little longer, but sometimes you catch little nuances like Tall doing a little landscaping there. I'm going to want to make sure I get that. So I'm not going to want to do an angle that starts over here and completely misses her doing that. I want to show, hey, someone came over and helped me out a little bit. So that's important to me. That's important to me. I like showing everything that happens in camera, at least the best I can. Whoa, lightning storm. Yeah, these are fun in replay mods. Because it goes super speed. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Someone went to sleep. I got Skelly Bob after me. I have to remember that. Yep, just a Skelly Bob came after me. Was that a Skelly Bob or just a zombie? I'm not sure. But yeah, I have to remember that too. So the camera angle's definitely got to be on this side because all the cool stuff has happened over here. Now, I think that about does the top. I think I'm going to... What do I do at this point? Yeah, I slam out all these lighting bits. But then I stop... No, okay. See, I don't even remember half the stuff I did here. Okay, so... Yeah, I was just making sure the lighting all worked out. Yup, I counted out the center there. Right, center there. Yep, I messed up, cleaned that up. Okay. Think that's the lights done. So I could stop it here, or I could keep it going and include building this top thing in. But because this is kind of a smaller build and kind of quick, we currently only have 2, including this one is 3 clips. That's like kind of like first quarter of a song. I think it might be a good idea to end this clip here, right there, and then we're going to do the top bit as a separate clip, even though I mess it up. I think I hem and haw about that thing for ages. That's what all the rest of this is, I think. So yeah, all right, so let's do this section now. This was like halfway done. I did this whole back end during this clip. So we got Tall helping out here. We've got the zombie or the Skelly Bob right there attacking me halfway through. And then I finish up by putting in the light. So I'm going to want to be up top-ish. So what I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to do another close-up to zoom out. I have to think about this one. All right, we're going to do a surrounding shot. This is what I like to call a surrounding shot. What I do every now and again in my clips is I'll start way the heck out here since I can. This is the render distance, right? And so as long as I stay within the render distance, I can get some pretty cool shots. Now, this kind of gives people a setting, a placement of where this is. Now, normally I would like to start over by the water over there, but like I said, Tall helped out with the landscaping over there, so I don't want to miss that. So I'm going to go up here And I'm going to start way up here, and I'm going to go really quick right into this and kind of loop around the side of it. So watch this. This is going to be fun. Now we're going to start way up here, right? And then we're going to zoom in real quick. Of course, it takes a second. Feels not so quick. All right, so this is our second shot. Now this is where the Skelly Bob gets us. So let's make sure this is in frame. Yep, there we go. Oop, I messed up. Frame. There we go. That goes in our middle spot, and then we're gonna get kind of close up around the corner here where we put in all the lights in that back bit. And I don't want to end too close to center. I don't want to go too far that way. I think this is about the angle. Let me make sure we've got this all set up. There we go. And boom. Let's do the shift play trick just to make sure that camera angle. Yeah. See, it gives people the idea of where you are in this. It doesn't like focus on the small spot that you're currently in. You can actually see everything. I love that camera angle. I love that sweep. That works for me. Again, if someone knows the technical term for doing that, please let me know in the comments. I would love to know what I'm talking about when I say these things. So yeah, I believe, oh yeah, I have this, okay. We have this top little bit to do too. So let's clear this out. I think I jumped right on it. Yep, there we go. So we'll just keep that last one. Now, first thing I do is I make it really squat like this, and then I replace it with that. I don't like it. But it looks like I leave it with that, don't I? I never fix that right away, and then I start cleaning up the inside, don't I? Okay, so I think in order to get that in there, either I've got to add that to the last clip since it was really short, or start out here where I do it and then move my way in. Let's see what I do first, and then we'll go from there. Yep, okay, I make the arch. Yep, okay. Now, it's a real bummer you don't get these sounds. I mean, as obnoxious as that is, it's a real bummer you don't get the sounds when you render. Because sometimes that would be quite fun to have in there. Now, as you can see, I'm making a mob central mess over here. I'm going to have some serious mobs in a minute. But, yep, that's cool. All right, so I did that. Let's pause. I don't think I did much other than that. I think I hemmed and hawed after this. I'm going to make that. I don't know if I'm going to keep it, but let's see what I do next. I think, do I try to find flooring? Okay. See, I don't know. Oh, yeah, there's the mobs. I told you there was going to be mobs. Saw it coming. Killed the mobs. Okay, and then we put in all of flooring. Okay, good. So all the basic flooring gets done on this clip. There we go. Looks like I'm done. Oh, no, I got a little bit more over here. I think that's going to be it. I'm not sure about this, so we're going to wait it out and see, but I think that's going to be the end clip. And it might be all I do in this particular replay. Oh, I'm moving. Oh, okay, I get started on some of the design work. Right. Okay, so this is a little tricky one, okay? I kind of want to have this part as part of the you know, maybe I don't. Maybe that'll be another clip in and of itself. Me putting in this glass bit here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is first I'm going to work on the clip where I start out here and I go in there and show that I've made the floor, and then the next clip is going to start right about here. Yep, that's the way of things. I think what I'm going to do is kind of start slightly up and then kind of swoop in. I think that'll look cool. So we're going to go up here. We're going to make that spot. This is not going to be all the way at 16. This is not meant to be a long clip. All right, boom. What am I doing? There we go. We're going to zoom in. We're going to slow my guy down a little bit. We're going to zoom in because we're going to want to get in there fairly quickly or we're going to miss all the action. So we got to get kind of right here. Now I might have this angle wrong and I'll show you how I can find out in a second. But yeah, and then we're going to kind of go up a little bit because, I mean, I could try turning around, but sometimes spinning the camera around can give people a headache. So what I'm trying to do is I want to get a decent wide angle. Indoor shots are very difficult. It's actually a good thing that I have a little bit of this indoor stuff going on in this tutorial, because this is kind of a challenge for people, including myself. But I think that'll do. Now, there's a couple ways you can find out if you did it right. Looks like it did well. All right, so you see this line here. What you could do is just see if you've run into any blocks. Doesn't look like I have, so I don't have to really fix anything yet. But I do want to watch it and see if it's any good. So here we go. Okay, we see the top happen. We notice my guy's doing this stuff. I zoom in, and then I kind of... Yeah, that's not bad. There's definitely going to be some action off the camera, and I don't like that, because especially since I'm going to end off up over here. But I think that will work out just fine. So we're going to save that as our 4th clip. There we go. And then our 5th clip is going to be another indoor shot. And I think we might actually do a still shot or a very, very slow moving shot. So yeah, let's try that out. Now, like I said, this is not the right time. I want to get this time right. So a couple things I can do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click here. Now, when you go backwards in time, you got to wait for a little while. It's going to happen. Watch. It's going to take a minute. There we go. All right. Now, what I do typically, if I want to get to this exact spot that is on this time keyframe, is what you can do is you can right click it and it'll take you to that time. However, it does it in a way that actually visually shows you it happening, which can sometimes freeze up the computer. So what I do is I jump till I get pretty close to that time. I jump like this until I get almost there, and then I right click it to make sure that I get the exact right time, which is where I am right there. Now we press play and we wait until my guy starts moving. I think my guy goes out the door, and when he comes in, that's when we're going to do our new timestamp. Oh, no. Oh, wow. Okay. So he didn't go back outside. I thought I did, but I didn't. Now, if you make that kind of a mistake, all you do is just make it go a little further back. It's not a big deal. So the way I did that is I double clicked the timestamp or the time keyframe, and I just edit it and hit save. All right. So I make this little contraption or this little thing here. Do I finish up? Do I finish it up in this one? Or yep. Okay. No. What am I going to do? FCD, come on. Figure out what you're going to do. There you go. You almost got it. You're doing the symmetrical thing. Good man. You're almost there. You've got this. You've got this, big guy. Yep. You're figuring it out. Good job. You ate something there, and it sounded really weird going fast. All right. And then I had to go outside to get more sea lanterns. Boom. And then I fill in all the glass, it looks like. Yup. Boom. Okay. So that is the very, very end of the clip. I decided I wanted to stop the clip there because I needed to go do something real quick, I believe. All right. So I start building right here and I end off right there. If I put it here, it's going to be kind of close quarters. And I could do like a low to the ground, make you feel like an ant kind of thing going on here. Could do one of these and slowly, you know, there's some merit to that. I could do a pan shot. It's difficult to do indoor things. Have I told you that before? I think I told you that. It's difficult to do replay indoors. So let's, yeah, because I start right there and I do a lot of stuff on the other side. Does it look cool coming up? No, it doesn't, because I can't actually get up here. So I'm going to have to do a down up shot. So yeah, let's start from over here. Okay, yeah, we have our last time keyframe. Boom. One thing I do is I put that to 0 because when you have it go straight to the very end, sometimes it glitches out when you run the render and it's just not cool. So what you do is you just get rid of the milliseconds. If it's already at 0, just remove a second and put it like 500 milliseconds or something like that. Just remove the last couple like milliseconds just to make sure that doesn't happen. But anyways, yeah, I think this angle is good for the start and start building here. Actually, you know what? I could start up a little higher And a little bit closer. Yeah, okay. I want to start here, actually. Let's remove that bad boy. Put a new one in. All right, we're doing 10-second marks. Okay, so then we're going to drop back a little bit. Come down. Right? Kind of like this. I don't know if this is one's going to look right. I don't know if I'm going to like this one, but we'll see. And then end off kind of like in this corner looking up at it. I think that might look cool. I don't know. This is kind of experimental. I do a couple angles like this sometimes where I kind of make it up as I go. Actually, this isn't too bad so far. All right, I'll buy that. I think that'll actually work. Oh, see, that it happened anyways. I didn't remove enough. So now it reverted to the very, very beginning, which is fine. I've already created that. So what I'm going to do is just do this. All right. So we have, let's press play so we're looking at something useful. We have 5 nice solid clips off of this particular replay. Now there is one more, but this is the one we're going to do for this tutorial. We're going to finish off with this one, and that way I'll leave a little bit to the imagination for the next video coming out on Wednesday. So yeah, let us do the next step. There's a couple new steps to this. Like I said, this is my full workflow. I plan to go off and actually show you guys my editing process as well, so you guys can see how I add things to music and stuff like that. So this is just me doing my full replay. I hope you guys enjoy this concept. But anyways, yeah, this part is kind of easy. Sometimes it glitches out, but there's a feature that Crush Pixel put in for me. Like, I requested this feature and he kind of put it in a weird way. What I asked for was a little button over here where you say render, and it will actually put all of these, or render all. It'll put all those in a queue and actually render them all. That was the idea. He's got it almost there. This is the way he implemented it. So we hit render, but we don't come up here. We go open queue. We add the current configuration, and that's the first clip in there. Now I got to go all the way over here, load the second configuration, open queue, add configuration 2, close, cancel X, 3, load. And sometimes this freezes up when I do this, and it's really quite frustrating, but the latest versions haven't been freezing up. So I don't know if they fixed it or what. But yeah, things seem to be a little more stable. But still, it would be a lot easier if I could just click one button and have all of these just load into the queue. Crush Pixel, if you're watching, I'd love that, man. It would save me so much time. As you can see here, it's just such a pain. All right, so I've got all 5 configurations in. So now all I've got to do is hit render, and it'll actually go through all 5 of them, and it's fantastic. Now I'm going to stop the recording because I have a feeling the recording is going to get all messed up while it's doing this. So I will see you guys afterwards, and yeah, we'll see if these clips worked out. All right, I have all of my replays. Now, normally I would rename these generally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That way I know, but they're named based on date by default from ReplayMod. So let's move these guys right on in. All right, they all moved in. It's going a little slow because I am recording with OBS, so that's why I used a little speed up trick there. But we are ready to choose our music track. So what we're going to do is come over here. You'll see how I have things organized over here. So we've got all our waves of our different songs. All right, so let's see. What do we want? You get some flashbacks from some of these, some nostalgia going on. Manamana. Oh, all the fun stuff. There's a lot of fun things. Sexy Sweden, all those things. I'm thinking maybe Zeal. It's a Chrono Trigger remix that I made, but I feel like that might play nicely with this one. I'm not entirely sure, so I'm going to drag it in and find out. See, it's nice and long, but that's okay. It's very repetitive, so it's all right. I purposely made it really long and repetitive. That way I can use it a lot. I could use it in my videos. So with this one, it has a nice quiet intro. So what I'm thinking about doing, this little line right here is the first beat. So I'm going to start the beat as soon as the replay starts. Now, one little trick I do is I'll bring this all the way up to the beginning of the beat right there. And that way I'm starting right in the right spot, and then I'll drag this back out. It's kind of a little trick I do. Now, this is Premiere. I know not everybody's going to have Premiere available to them. I totally get that. Wow, there's a lot of intro before that beat hits. But anyways, yeah, I realized that not everybody has Premiere, but there are other good editors out there. Just ask around, Google, find some good things. It is difficult, I'm not going to lie, to find a good editor. I'm very pleased that I have access to Premiere. So that's what I use. Now let's jump right on in. Now, first thing, the main thing I want to do is make sure I've got this all set up to the beat. Now, what I'm going to do is actually... I already know I'm going to do this, so what I'm going to do is make it so it's a little quieter leading up to the first part there. I know you guys haven't even heard this, but see, the thing is I've done this so much, I've got it in my head. So they'll slowly fade in as I'm talking about going into the replay, and then boop, I bop it right up to the full volume. So here we go. It's going to be an interesting time lapse. You're likely to see me mess up and try some new things. You'll see a little bit of my building. Now, I'd like to say the audio sounds good, but I'm aware that the video playback is dumb slow, and that's because I'm recording. There's nothing I could do. My computer's just a potato like that. It's not that great. But we shall see how it goes when we do our replay part. Process, but yeah, let's do this thing. Yes, I like this song for this. It's perfect. All right, the reason why I stopped it is I know right there is where we want to switch it. Now, in Premiere, all you got to do, what I do is I take off the last little clip because sometimes things go wrong with it. I hit R and I drag that over. What R is this guy right here, the rate stretch tool, R, and it'll just yank it over and put it right there. And then I'm going to take this and put this right here. So let's see how that looks. Do this thing. See how it jumped right away? Now, one thing I noticed is I made a mistake. I made a little mistake here. I ended it right here, which is, it's not, it feels like it's really close to the same thing, but they're not the same thing at all, are they? It's a similar distance, so it's throwing me off a little bit, but I think this will work out just fine. I think I'll let that be. Sometimes I'll do a transition if I need to, but I don't need to do it in this thing. Now, I wanted to see if it could stretch out through, but it's not gonna. So let's cut this one off. Right there, that is our beat. I'm gonna move this right here, pull this in. You're pretty much gonna see me repeat this process over and over. It's pretty simple. It's a pretty simple concept. Doesn't take too much work, especially once you know how to create your clips, so that you don't have to take too many artistic licenses, like having to do a transition here and that kind of thing to make it look interesting. As soon as you learn how to do these segments, it actually helps out quite a bit. So, all right, let's see how this works out. Oh, one thing I always do is I always Control S. Always save your work as you go. It's smart. Cool, that worked. All right, there's the beat. Put it right there. Take off the little bit of the end. ReplayMod actually adds a little bit of an artifact toward the end there for some of these clips. So I've just gotten in a habit of just yanking off that last tiny little bit. One thing you'll notice is every now and again, it's kind of annoying, but I guess that... Oh, I'm really zoomed in. I think that'll work out just fine. Every now and again, I don't know what it is, but with Premiere, it does that sometimes where it doesn't exactly put it where I want this frame to change. So it'll be fine. Let's see how this works. That's fine. That's perfect. Now it goes into the music, like the bigger part of the music at the end of that little phrase there. Well, it is what I think this will work out just fine. That's right. I have a couple more clips I'm going to do at the end of this, so that'll be fine. All right, there's our ending right there. The beat's right there. Take a little clip off of that. Put it down like that. Boom. Boom. Did you see that little artifact at the very end? This is what ReplayMod. See, there it is. It does little artifacts like that sometimes at the very end. Crush Pixel. Once again, if you're watching, there's a little thing to fix there. I don't know what that's all about, but it's just started happening about 3 versions ago. Anyways, yeah, like I said, I have a couple more clips I'm going to add to the end of this. I don't want to add too many spoilers for you guys, but I hope you guys enjoyed this little walkthrough. You know, at this point, I'm going to end up doing the same thing with this. I'm going to end it off at the beat right here probably and cut it off and then do probably 2 more clips I think I'll have. And then it'll fade into the next bit. Let's pretend I have those 2 clips in, okay? I'm probably going to have to redo this anyways, but I want to show you guys what I do at the end of these clips. There's 2 different things I can do. If I have enough replay footage to make it through an entire song, I just let the song end and then I move into the clip. Sometimes, like in this case, I'm only going to be like halfway through this phrase, like right here. Actually, let's find out exactly where that is so I don't have to redo it. Okay, give me 1 second. All right, so there we go. This is where it's going to end. That is going to be the clip. The last clip right there. I mean, it's not the actual last clip, but yeah, I basically made enough room for 2 more, which will be perfectly fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to yank this one back like this for now. I'm going to take the rest of my video and pull it all the way into here. And one thing is this last clip, I'm actually going to let be a little longer. So let's just pretend we did that. So I'm going to rate stretch it back out a little bit. Use V, put that back, do that. And that way we could do a little transition. So what we're going to do this video transition. We're going to do dissolve, cross dissolve, and we'll yank this out to be kind of a long one. We could do a cross dissolve. We could do a cool gradient wipe. I think cross dissolve will do the best here. And again, this isn't going to be the clip that we use here, but this will give you an idea what we're going to do here. It looks like this Let's Play clip right here ends right about there. So what we're going to do is bring this all the way here to the end of that. We're going to take our volume changer. We're going to drop it quite a bit right in the beginning, and then we're going to fade it out so it's absolutely gone by the time we're ready to transition to the next clip, and we'll see how this works out. Watch. All right, I really love how this little mini ocean monument came out. I had a lot of fun with it. I hope you guys like it. Actually, you know what? There's one little change I want to do now that I'm looking at it. I want to take this. Now, if you notice, my music is a little loud there. I didn't like it to be that loud, so what I'm going to have to do, in Premiere, you got to do this every now and again, is zoom that in, bring this down. I think I'm going to bring it down to like 16. Let's see. All right, I really love how that is much better. So there we go. There we go. Simple as that. That is done. That's done. We are done. We are done, guys. This is how you do it. Or at least this is how I do it for my time-lapse videos. There's some other tricks and things like that when you have to try to make it so that you might want to do a replay of like first person, like you're trying to do a little camera that follows the guy around as he's doing a Let's Play in real time. That has some more tricks and things that you have to try to work through. This is just a really simple time lapse. It's the way I do it. Some people do it in all one big replay clip. I like to mix it up. It makes it a little more interesting. It gives you something to cut to when you hit the different beats in the song. I personally enjoy it this way. Other people like it do it different ways. I know Green likes to have it be a constant flow of it going around. Of course, that helps for him because he is doing a tutorial while the replay is going. So that works better for him because it's a little more real time. It's whatever works for you, but this is what works for me. If you want to use this technique, awesome. If you want to improve upon it, please do, because that's what this is all about, right? We're all helping each other get better at this stuff. But anyways, I hope you really enjoyed this little chilled out version of a tutorial. I didn't want to be like all flashy and showy and a lot of production and everything like that. I just wanted to sit down and go through my full workflow with you guys, and I hope you really enjoyed it. You know I have, and if you really liked it, go hit that like button. And I'd really love it if you were to subscribe. But this has been FamilyCraft. Toodles!